What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. It is Friday. Good morning. How are we feeling today?
You heard that last night, Jenny?
I saw it. Oh, yes, I did.
You know
saw
what?
your tweets.
NBA champs.
I'll give you this moment because you have had such a hard 2 weeks on this show having to talk about a true GOAT. So I'll give you 5 seconds to talk about the phony GOAT in some silly game.
Don't do that.
Staples against Denver. I don't know. It's Super Bowl time. It's time to watch Tampa Bay GOAT out on Sunday night.
Baby GOAT.
Yeah.
Who's where it happens.
Most people think he's already the GOAT.
Oh,
so here we go.
I mean, a baby got to become a grown-up, right?
We have so much to get to today. Yes, we will talk about LeBron, what he did, what the Lakers did. Snoop Dogg will join us later on. But guys, as Skip said it, it's Tampa Bay time. The Super Bowl is upon us. But here's the situation. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will try to become the NFL's first repeat champion in 16 years when they face Tom Brady and the Bucs in Super Bowl 55. Tampa Bay is the first team to play Super Bowl in its home stadium, but are 3-point underdogs according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So Shannon, today is the day you tell me who wins Sunday.
Skip, I've said this all along. I believe it's going to be a shootout. I believe it'll be higher scoring than what it was the original game when they played, and I think the final score was 27-24. I believe more points will be put on the board. I'm hoping that the thunderstorms or the shower that they're expecting, I hope they hold off until...
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
They're saying it's in the morning and it's going to blow away.
So. I'm hoping so, Skip, because the last thing I want is, sloppy play, the rain having an impact on the game. I just wanted to be, everybody on a level field.
Agreed.
And ball out.
That may be the last time we agreed this whole show.
But, Skip, I'm taking the Chiefs because it's hard for me to see a scenario in which the Chiefs does not get 30 points. I watched Washington turn the ball over with their backup quarterback that was taking online classes. He got 23. Drew Brees got 20 points with 4 turnovers. Aaron Rodgers got 26 points with a turnover. My homeboy has scored basically, what did he got? Averages 34 points in his playoff career. 6-1 in his playoff career. He's gotten at least 31 in every single game except the game that he got hurt the first drive of the third quarter against Cleveland. But the matchup within the matchup is going to be JPP, Shaq Barrett, against the 2 backup tackles for Kansas City. Can they protect Mahomes? If they can protect Mahomes, I believe they'll get to the magic number, which is 38. If they cannot protect Mahomes, I still believe they can get to the high 20s, maybe low 30s, but that gives Tampa an opportunity to get to an even higher 30s. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. I got them winning 38-34, and Mahomes is going to be spectacular. He's going to need to be spectacular because, as we mentioned yesterday, Skip, I believe from top to bottom, player for player, roster to roster, I believe Tampa is the more talented of the teams. But I believe Mahomes is the difference maker. I think Fox Bet and I think all these gambling sites believes Mahomes is the difference maker. So I'm going Kansas City 38. I'm going Tampa 34. And the Chiefs become the first team in 16 years since the great New England teams to go back-to-back.
So you're telling me that a washed-up 43-year-old quarterback with declining skills is going to put up 34 points on Steve Spagnuolo's defense, an architect who shut him down in the first Eli Super Bowl. Really? Interesting.
Hold on. Let me ask now, yesterday, that's not what you said. Yesterday, you was talking about they beat the number 2 defense. They did that. They beat the number 4 defense. They did that. They beat the number 9 defense. If you don't mind me asking.
Thanks for listening so carefully.
So where is Kansas City ranked? They're in between 2 and 4, or they're in between 4 and 6?
who had the highest-ranked defensive player on the board, according to Pro Football Focus, Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs. A game wrecker blowing right up the middle, right in Tom Brady's face at 43, right? You got that going for you, but you're going to poo-poo that.
So one guy, but they got 3 guys in the offensive line in the top 10, but we got 1 guy in the top 10, and you're like, oh, Chris Jones. See how you try to build that narrative? If Tom Brady does this, this is his greatest achievement ever.
Okay, it is my turn. And I will begin my prediction with the truest truism I have ever spoken in all my years watching, covering, observing, deciphering your game, professional football. There is one man in sports I do not bet against, especially when the stakes are highest and the pressure is greatest. That man is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. He is the no doubt GOAT. Yet, he is the doubted GOAT by so many because I picked him and his Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win at New Orleans, to get revenge, to get even with their nemesis, the Saints. And you all but laughed at me on this show sitting in that very seat. Then I picked Tampa Bay to go up to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field and to outduel Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game, and you all but ridiculed me sitting in that same seat. So I'm not going to back off. I'm going to pick Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. to do it once more, to do what he has always done in Super Bowl games. I believe because he has won 6 rings with 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime of Super Bowls, that he will do it again. We are going to see another late game-winning drive from Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, in which he is installed and instilled in the Patriot way in Tampa Bay, and they have caught fire right on schedule. I think they're a little hotter and a little more meant to be fairy tale story than the Kansas City Chiefs are. I've told you that I think the Chiefs have used up all 9 of their lives this year, and I think they won't have one left this time.
Hasn't Tom used up all 9 of his Super Bowl lives? Because the games have been close, remember?
Every game is close.
Because this is what I don't understand, Skip. The thing that you praise Brady for, winning close ball games, you and others have diminished Pat Mahomes for doing the exact same thing. They're not blowing people out. They're winning. I thought the objective was to win, not by how many. Tom Brady wins by 1, 2, 3 in the Super Bowl. That's great. Pat Mahomes wins. Man, they should be blowing these teams out.
Okay. So we'll see about that, because I think he's going to do exactly what he always does with a late game-winning field goal drive. But I think the script is going to be flipped on its head. I see a completely different game than you just detailed and outlined for me. I see the opposite of a shootout. I see a defensive struggle on both sides. I do. I see low score. I see 23-20 Tampa Bay over Patrick Mahomes. I say that Tom Brady will swallow his ego in ways that Andy Reid will not be able to. And for once, he'll say, this game is about playing keep away and letting my defense play the game it plays the best, which is takeaway. Who led the entire National Football League in takeaways? The Tampa Bay defense did. What did Patrick Mahomes do in his first Super Bowl a year ago? Well, late in the game, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, they were still down 20-10, and he threw 2 what I thought were ugly, eyesore interceptions. I was shocked by both of them. But he managed to overcome them by getting away with a 3rd and 15 from his 35 play with 7 minutes left in the game, in which he's got a rusher right in his face, and he just flings it to the moon into the left flat. And Tyreek had to stop, come back, wave for a fair catch, and catch it for 44 yards, and that saved the game. So by Patrick standards, I thought he was below par in that game. I thought that was a substandard performance by Patrick Mahomes. So I say, with the weight of the world on his shoulder pads, with the world already proclaiming this kid the greatest quarterback of all times, just on eye test, not obviously on resume, that he will get a little desperate because, to your point, they will have a hard time protecting him. I believe that the defense will swarm on him. I believe both those rushers, I believe the two inside rushers, I believe Vita Vea and Sue will have their impact, blowing up the pocket from the inside out. And I believe he won't be able to escape as usual because those two guys can run on the flanks. And I believe they'll mix in a blitz here or there, but mostly they're going to play cover 3. I think they're just going to play safe defense where you can't get behind us. Tyreek had 203 receiving yards in the first quarter of that game on November 29th at Tampa Bay. He's not going to have anywhere near that because they will double him and they will double Travis Kelce. And I believe this game is going to be about Tom Brady's duration of clutchness. I believe it will be more ball control. I believe they'll run the ball a lot more than you think they will because I think they can run the ball on Kansas City. Yeah. I believe Brady will be the one in the meeting saying, hey, both of our safeties are iffy for this game. Antoine Winfield Jr., the quarterback of the defense who missed the Green Bay game, I don't know if he can go. He's been limited in practice. He's got a terrible ankle injury. And even if he tries to go, will he be half of what he used to be? I don't know.
Well, Skip, I believe in the first game they played, they wanted to run the football, but they went 3 and out on so many possessions and 17-0.
Well, when he throws for 359 yards in the first half, what do you think's going to happen?
Right.
Okay. So since then, one man has emerged, and his name is Leonard Fournette.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he's starting to live up to the hype that he had at LSU when I thought he was going to win a Heisman Trophy. Our first year on the show, I predicted he would win that Heisman. And he went to Tuscaloosa once again, and he hasn't been seen since, right? Okay? So he finally found his rebirth, his second life in the NFL, if not from college football, in Tampa, just the way I believe. And by the way, Antonio Brown is practicing full speed. I think he's going to be a factor in this game as in ball control. And I believe that Leonard Fournette is going to get somewhere around 100 yards rushing. I believe Leonard Fournette is going to catch 8, maybe 10 balls because, little known fact, your defense allowed the most receiving yards of any team in the NFL to running backs.
Right.
You can hurt them with running backs. Leonard Fournette can really, really catch it.
Yeah, but you need to be Leonard Fournette or Christian McCaffrey to make that pay off. And Leonard Fournette is not one of those guys in the receiving game. I granted he caught a big third down 2 weeks ago against Green Bay on fourth. We've been it was fourth down, excuse me, not third down. He's caught a couple of plays. He caught the angle route against New Orleans for the touchdown. So he's gotten better. But I don't believe Leonard Fournette is the guy that can beat you in the passing game like Alvin Kamara, like a Christian McCaffrey. But Tom does like to throw. Remember in that Super Bowl, Skip, he threw 14 passes to James White. He loves throwing to the running back because he'll take what you give him.
Agreed.
The one thing that we know about Tom, especially in this game, he will not force the football. In the times that he's forced it, he's paid the ultimate price. He forced one against Atlanta, Skip. He went pick 6.
He did.
He forced one against Seattle. They picked that. So normally Tom is very cautious when he throws the football in the Super Bowl because he knows you pay double for those types of interceptions.
Okay. So I believe you're going to see Brady at his subtle greatest, where it's going to be long drive greatness. And I believe that Tampa won this game, won this Super Bowl in the final 3 quarters of the November 29th game, in which it looked like they were about to get blown completely off their home turf. Because if you look at what happened in the last 3 quarters of that game, Brady threw for 313 yards, fairly quietly because it looked like they had been embarrassed.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. How many of those yards did he throw for when they was within 1 score?
Okay. Well, you can argue they took their foot off the gas. You can argue they relaxed on defense. You can argue all the above. But in the second half of that game, Patrick Mahomes threw for a grand total of 103 yards. They started to draw a bead on him. They started to figure out how to play him on defense, and Tom started to figure out how to play Spagnuolo's defense on offense. And it started to click because Tampa won the last 3 quarters 24-10. Tampa won the second half 17-7. 2 long drives in the fourth quarter directed by Brady, 75 yards and 73 yards, cut the score to 27-24 with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left, and the defense could not get him the ball back, or I believe he would have won that game.
But that's the thing, though, Skip. But you never had the ball with a chance to take the lead. You never had the ball when you were within one score.
Well, you were lucky they didn't have the ball.
You had the ball, Skip. You keep saying Patrick.
No, we didn't. Last 4-10, not once.
Skip, you keep saying that Patrick Mahomes only threw for 103 in the second half. Even though he did only throw for that fewer yards in the second half, he still had 100 more passing yards than Tom Brady threw for the entire game.
And he got him in the first quarter. Seriously. It was as an embarrassing a defensive scheme as I've ever seen. They stuck poor Carlton Davis, who's a talented kid, but he's just a kid, in single coverage on Tyreek much of the first quarter, some into the second quarter. And he got embarrassed. He gave up 200 yards receiving to Tyreek in single coverage.
Well, you call him a poor kid. Now, when he was on the IG talking about Michael Thomas, he didn't say. I mean, you didn't say nothing about no. He didn't say no poor kid.
You know how corners are. You
Exactly.
have to have indomitable spirit and confidence, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you did your thing on a Devontae when you making picks. Ain't nobody say nothing about no poor kid. Man up.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Yeah,
you just challenged him. I'm glad. Keep talking. I need it. He needs it.
Hey, he got to worry about me. He need to worry about 10.
But you know what he's going to need most? Help.
Yeah, exactly.
He can have help. Yes.
Well, his help needs to come from JPP and Shaq Barrett.
Okay.
That's where his help needs to come from.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. Tom Brady is going to win the clock in ways they couldn't win the clock the first time. They lost the clock 37 minutes to 23 minutes. If that happens in this game, it's lights out. It will be everything you think it is and most people think it will be, which will be Kansas City will score close to 40 points. It could get ugly if they win the clock 37 to 23.
Well, a lot of that, Skip, you got to realize their first 4 possessions, they were three and out.
Okay,
Well, if you go 3 and out, that means you only have the ball probably 2 minutes of those 4 possessions because a lot of those are incomplete and you stopping the clock. And so you give Mahomes, and he put together a couple of long drives. Now, the one was only one play. He went 75 to Tyreek over the top. That didn't take a whole lot of time. But he did put together some other scoring drives. And even when they came away empty, Skip, that was a nice 8-9 play drive before Shaq Barrett got through there and forced a strip sack in the red zone. Or it was about to get real ugly. It was about to get Bubba Sparks in that thing. It was about to be 24-0.
What happened in the opening drive at Lambeau in the NFC Championship game? They go 3 and out?
No, they went right down the field. And
boom, boom, boom. 3rd and 4, boom. 3rd and 7, got it.
Yeah.
3rd and 9, got it. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay?
And what did Green Bay do on their first possession? Sack.
Okay.
Shaq Barrett off the field, boom.
Okay, that's got some potential to happen this time. But I do believe that they will mix in more runs, more short passes, more ball control, because Brady is genius at this. He knew he had to put Aaron on his heels at Lambeau by scoring first. They won the toss. Green Bay won the toss, and as most teams do, they deferred. And Brady said, oh, okay, watch this. This time, I believe more long drives because, as I wrote my piece the other day when I was talking about how underappreciated Brady still is, how underestimated he still is, he has no signature Super Bowl plays. He is spectacularly unspectacular. He doesn't throw no looks. He doesn't throw left-handed passes. There is zero Mahomes in Brady. So if we could see what I concluded about his clutchness in my piece that I wrote for FoxSports.com, I said, Brady is long drive clutch, subtle, steady clutch, extended clutch, monotonously, efficiently, effortlessly clutch, boringly clutch. That's what this guy is, and it's hard to love it because there's no wow factor to it. Mahomes is complete wow factor. Right. Brady is textbook. Mahomes is like watching the TMZ website. It's just like fireworks are going to go off everywhere. You know.
Well, I agree with you because most clutch players, whether no matter the sport, you have a signature moment, whether it's Tiger Woods on 18 at the U.S. Open, or maybe that shot that he spin back into the hole at Augusta National, or maybe it was Jordan holding the pole.
You can just keep going.
We think about it. Everybody's had that pose, that walk-off, that moment. And Tom is just basically, a lot of times when Tom wins the game, he's on the sideline.
Yep.
He elementary kicked the field goal, or he's hoping his defense gets a stop. So you're right. I mean, he hadn't had that moment, but he's done some amazing things, especially because as many times as he had to throw the ball to get them in position of all the things that could have happened, Skip, a tip, guy bobbles the ball, a fumble, he's had none of that happen, really, on the last drive.
He has not. And remember, when you have 6 game-winning drives in fourth quarter overtime to win 6 rings, that means you went a long distance without one thing going wrong, because it just takes 1 inch, 1 ounce.
So he do.
Okay.
That's what you said about Mahomes. You said Mahomes them 9 lives, so he should be due.
Yeah, but this guy's got longevity resume.
Yeah.
This guy is the one guy that history screams, Shannon, be careful. In these moments, you don't bet against him.
Yeah. Even history says that if you do something long enough, the odds, if you fight long enough, Mayweather got out at 50. No, he knew if he kept trying to go, let me try to get to 51, let me try to get to 52. The odds were not in his favor. The odds of you continuously putting together these game-winning drives are not in your favor, Skip.
Except he's Tom Brady.
Okay.
And your guy is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, boy.
And he's had a sensational start to his career, but he is not invincible. See last year's Super Bowl. And the totals for this game, the over-unders on the passing yards for each quarterback are high. And I think they're you think they're both going to go over their over-unders are Brady's 300, Mahomes is 320. Yeah. I think neither will go over their totals.
Over that. I'm betting over.
Okay. Do you realize how many times Patrick Mahomes has thrown under 300 yards in his career? Because he does it a lot. Because it's hard to throw for 300 yards.
Yeah, but he's averaging 307 for a career. So do you know how many times he's thrown over 300 yards?
Okay, 7 times last year he went under 300. In the Super Bowl last year, he went under 300. In the AFC Championship last year against Tennessee at home, he went under 300. The season before, 9 times he went under 300 yards. In his MVP season, he went 8 times under 300 yards. So I say this is going to be more of a defensive struggle where he will have lots of pressure on him that he hasn't had before. I say it's going to be the most pressure he's going to have in his face, maybe in his career. And I believe that Tampa will take the ball away from him somehow via fumble, sack, fumble, interceptions. I believe they're going to have 3 turnovers.
You do realize that the guy's only turned the ball over twice in his playoff career.
Yep. I got it.
Twice.
Number 1 in takeaways is Tampa Bay. What have they been doing to everybody they play? What did they do to Drew Brees? What did they do at Green Bay?
We don't give it away, though. That's what we don't do.
Okay, well, good luck. And now we get to the psychological motivational factor. This is the icing on my cake. Tom Brady did not make the Pro Bowl, and it was a huge thing.
He didn't deserve it.
Okay? So Pro Football Focus graded him the 2nd best quarterback in pro football, and then in the postseason, they've graded him number 1 in the postseason, and he did not make the Pro Bowl over Kyler Murray, who got the 3rd quarterback spot for the NFC. Trust me, he is on fire for that.
Why are you on fire for that? He told Devin White, don't worry about the Pro Bowl. He got other bowls to worry about. So now he on fire for that?
Tampa Bay had no Pro Bowlers except JPP, who's a backup.
Yeah.
So Devin White did not make the Pro Bowl.
I thought Devin White.
Okay.
Now, you know what I think about him. I actually thought he should have made the Pro Bowl.
Okay, and I've told you all week that Kansas City is talking big, bad stuff. They are full of themselves.
What did he say?
We're going to talk about this a little later. It came to their owner, Clark Hunt, comparing Patrick Mahomes to Michael Jordan. That's how much they're full of themselves right now.
He's better than Michael.
And remember,
at the same point of their career, he was better.
Yeah, okay. There you go. You're doing it too good. You love it. You love it.
Am I lying?
We'll get to that. I'll get into that. But remember, Patrick Mahomes has been saying for 2 weeks, Tom's one of the best ever to do it, if not the best. One of the best?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to talk about disrespect from a kid?
Michael Jordan would have never said somebody was better than him. Michael Jordan never said Larry was better than him. Mike was better than him. But so you want everybody, you judge everybody by Michael Jordan standards, except when it comes to Tom Brady. If they don't bestow him, put the crown on his head, how dare you do that? No. Patrick Mahomes said, I don't take a backseat to no one. And he's better at this point right now.
Okay, good. So we've established the fact that Patrick Mahomes believes he's better than Tom Brady.
He should.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. And finally, the coup de grace. And I'm sure they have shown this tape again and again and again in Tampa film sessions this week. Can we see what Tyreek did after the 17-0 touchdown on November 29th? We should see it over and over and over and over again.
You're probably going to see it again.
Yep.
You're probably going to see it again.
Okay. All right, good. I dare you, Tyreek. I dare you to backflip in the Super Bowl. I dare you.
Andy told him to say, wait, because, we don't want anybody to cheap shot, and, we won't be able to finish the game because we're going to swing it out. But anyway, Skip, you could have stopped that. You could have prevented that. All you had to do was just, stop Tyreek.
You're into lions and tigers and cheetahs.
I am.
So help me out. Is the cheetah not afraid of the lion?
Yes. What a lion?
Yes.
Lion can't catch a cheetah.
Tampa's got lions all over its defense.
Can't catch it. We the fastest land, man. We the fastest land.
But you know what happens when a lion does catch a cheetah? It's over.
It's over.
Your day coming.
Yeah.
Your
day is Sunday night. By the way, real quick, Jenny, before we go, I'm going to give you one shot at this. I will take the, 3 points. I'll take the 3 points I'll even just do it for one case because I'm going with the huge upset here.
No points.
No points?
No points.
Why? Are you afraid?
I tell you what I will do, though. I do 3 cases straight up.
Straight up?
Straight up.
I got to have the 3 points.
No, sir.
Well, why wouldn't it be? I thought it was going to be a 7-point game.
No. Huh?
3 cases straight up.
Huh. Guys, we don't have time right now. You're going to have to settle this after we get back from break.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy.
After being down 12 at halftime, LeBron and the Lakers outscored the Nuggets by 33 points in a dominant second-half win to win the game. LeBron led the way with a 27-point triple-double and moved into third place all-time in career field goals, past Will Chamberlain. He said after the game, quote, "I feel like I'm a better player than I was last year." Shannon, you look to be celebrating. How impressive was LeBron last night?
How impressive was it, yo? I mean, tell me how impressive was it?
You have a crown on.
Mahomes will have one of these on Sunday night.
I'm going to give you this. I felt so bad for you because Tom Brady has made you look so foolish on this show so many times that it's okay. I'm going to give you this moment, and then I'm going to rain on your parade.
Why you trying to rain on my parade? I ain't bothered nobody. No. I'm just up here talking about old Goat Jay.
Okay.
You saw what he did last night?
I saw it.
Was it great? Did he reaffirm what you already knew? That he the best player in the NBA currently going? Yeah, I thought so. Skip, he was spectacular last night. 10 assists, only 2 turnovers. His passing is unreal. Skip, you saw that one that got the triple-dub? That one that he hit? THT win? How did he... Skip, look at... come on, Skip. That's not fair. He's 36 and you're 18 and doing this? Ball said, ain't no way he threw it. Coach, what you want me to do? He shot 63% from the floor. Skip, they was like going through the motion in the first half. The Nuggets was getting whatever they want. They had, Joker was left-handed Gasol to death. Murray was getting shot. They were getting wide open looks. And they come back in the second half, and because they play defense, ain't no stealing and all that, they locked it down. Doubled them up in the second half, Skip. Went on like a 46-18 run. That's what they're capable of. And it was led by who? My guy. I got a new guy. Kuzma.
Why doesn't he start?
Don't worry about it.
I know why. KCP is a clutch client. Aha. That's why.
Did it?
You know what? Kuzma should say, I give up. Rich Paul, would you be my agent so I can start?
No. Look, that second unit, Kuzma, Montrez, THT, Caruso, they were spectacular last night, Skip. They were unbelievable. They turned it up, and to end the game, they went on, like a 15-0 run, got the lead. I mean, this has been a long time since the Lakers have been down by double digits at the half and then end up winning the game by plus 20. That doesn't normally happen in an NBA game. Down by that many and you win by double digit, it just goes to show you what they're capable of doing. They were spectacular last night. Still, Skip, I need more from AD. I need more. AD, you got to give me more. I mean, I can't do anything with 8 shots. I know we won the game and we're happy, but I can't do anything with that. I need you on average to get somewhere between 17 and 24 shots a night. That's what I need from AD.
Well, maybe right now AD's shaking his head saying, Shannon, your guy's taking all the shots.
I mean, 12 and 19. No, Skip. You watched the game last night. You tell me AD was aggressive. You tell me that was a guy that looked like he wanted to get 18, 19 shots. It didn't look like that. So once we get that resolved, once we get AD, and AD got to understand now, Skip, this is the first time because you got to realize AD was in New Orleans. They had 1-2 big games a year. Now he's with the Lakers. He's expected to have big games every single night on a nightly basis. There's a level of expectation that comes along with being a champion, with being in that Laker uniform. Gradually figuring that out. But I love what I saw last night. For the first time, Skip, they look like a championship caliber team. We still need to add a big man. Because Gasol, Lord have mercy, Skip. Gasol, I don't even know what to say about him. But I like what I saw defensively and then the offensive come. Because here's the thing, Skip. When you start making shots, if you can lock the other team down, now you get yourself back in the ball game. Normally, if you can't play defense, you let somebody run out on like that, they're going to end up beating you by 30. Lakers here. Best team in the NBA right there. You just witnessed it.
I will give you this. The second half was the best home half your team has played all year. They look spectacular on both ends of the floor
2 years.
in the second half. That raised your home record to 5-4, right? 5-4?
Yeah.
Huh. Is that best team in the... I don't know.
What I record say? What I record say?
Huh.
What the record say is?
5-4.
No, overall record.
Oh, okay. So, also in the first half, you got out-rebounded 29-16.
Oh, it was terrible.
And what did I tell you about Gasol? I first guessed this before the season started. He is ground-bound. He moves glacially. He's not what you need to replace Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee because he does not command the paint. He doesn't strike fear into anybody's heart. There's no edge to his game. You are empty in the middle right now. You are soft in the center, right?
Yeah, we are.
And you need to rectify that if you're going to be a championship team because when Dwight came in last year, he played with edge.
He did a number on Yoke. It was him that
I know. I got it. But he could play a little bit gray area. He could get a little chippy, a little elbowy. And it worked because he was on his best behavior last year and he played hard and he was a huge X factor, as was JaVale to start the game because JaVale is so long and so strong that he just creates problems.
They were a big team, Skip, because think about it. You go AD, Dwight, or AD and JaVale, and then you still got LeBron. So you went big.
Yep.
But now, I mean, think about it. Gasol gets in foul trouble so quick. He stresses the bench so much. So now you bringing Trez in. You know, they're not really trying to get Trez to play 34, 35 minutes like he was playing before. That's not a good recipe. Trez is our energy guy, which energy means we only trying to play you somewhere between 22 and 26 minutes a night because we want you all out max effort. Well, he's got to start banging with Yoke. He got to start banging with these bigs, Skip. It's going to take something out of him.
Yep. So I'm going to give you this. You finished that game on a 46-18 run.
Yeah, we did.
That doesn't happen very often in the NBA. And Denver is not playing the way Denver did last year.
They playing just like they played when they played us. We do something to them.
Maybe. Maybe you got the right matchup for them. I don't know. Maybe you just got you have a psychological hold.
Yeah. That's a matchup. That's a matchup for everybody.
Well, every time he wound up on Jokic, and I'm not sure how they got that switch every time, he would literally just layup line him. I'm talking about layup line. It didn't even look hard to me. It looked like effortless, like he would just sort of half-speed dribble right by him and just lay it up off the glass.
Yeah, that turn, that fall away, that dream shake. He hit that dream shake.
He made one.
He made two.
Okay. So, speaking of LeBron shooting, how can we talk about this game if we don't talk about the flashpoint of this game early in the third quarter? Because I've just never seen anything like this. Help me out. I've been watching this game for a long time, but here's LeBron early in the third quarter. LeBron, you airballed it from the free throw line. How can you do that?
And rub it out. AD rubbing off on us.
I mean, it's short by a foot. It's short by a foot. It missed the rim by a foot.
The thing was, the first one, when you saw the first, and he's like, because first time he went up there, he's like, okay, he just went right in there. Sometimes, Skip, I think the thing is like LeBron overthinking it. He trying to be too perfect. He trying to swish it. Swish.
Oh, is he? He's trying to be too perfect?
Yes.
How can the quote-unquote best player on the planet airball a 15-foot standalone shot?
Yeah.
How can the quote-unquote GOAT airball a free throw?
Just like the greatest quarterback miss a wide-open West Welker.
Oh, okay.
They're just like that. That's how he did it.
So I was thinking about this after the game last night, and so I just looked up how many free throws. Let's start with the greatest player ever, the obvious GOAT, Michael Jordan. In his career, he attempted 10,538 free throws. I don't know this. I watched a whole lot of Michael Jordan, and I don't know this for a fact, but I just have this sneaking suspicion he never airballed a free throw.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he did.
I'm sure he did.
And
we
then,
can find the internet. Do your thing.
How about Kevin Durant? The best player on the planet right now. Kevin Durant has attempted 7,817 free throws. Do you think one of them has missed the whole rim?
I'm sure he has.
I just don't think he has. And what about James Harden? How about 8,487 attempted free throws? Do you think he ever just flat out cold missed the rim? I just don't think so. I don't get it. I don't know how LeBron, in year 18, he's improved his three-point shot. How can you not improve your 15-foot shot?
Skip, some of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history has lined up under the guard instead of the center.
Okay, but that's a bad analogy.
Why?
Okay, that's just you lost focus.
Okay, you just lost focus.
Okay, but that's a shot. That's not pre-snap. That's you got the ball in your hand, unguarded. 50. It's called a free throw. Free. F-R-E-E. Free.
It's called the center.
Free.
Up there, he's the guy that has the ball. You just walk up under him, put your hands up on his butt. He gives it to you.
Okay.
But somehow you lose focus and you go put your hands up under the guard's butt.
Okay. I'm going to doubt that Tom Brady ever put his hands under the guard's butt. I could be wrong, but I don't think he ever has.
But has any other of the great quarterbacks ever done that?
I'm sure they have.
Okay, thank you.
Has anybody ever airballed a free throw? Maybe somewhere, but this
Stop
is
it, Skip.
LeBron
You know
in year 18. What are you doing? And it's just driven me out of my mind that he's he's now 71%, which is actually pretty good because he was 69 last year, 67 the year before. Do you know how many points he's left on the table as he pursues Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time
You know how many
record?
points he's got off that table by playing every single game and not being out any significant amount of time? You know how many points he got? Do you know who's going to break Kareem's record? Yeah, that's that guy. That guy that airballed a free throw is going to be the greatest scorer in NBA history. He's also going to be the only player with 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists, and many championships and finals MVPs.
If he'd turn himself into a 90% free throw shooter, which he should if he's actually the GOAT and the best
why didn't Michael shoot
85?
90? That ain't 90.
Okay, all right, but I'm just saying, you're telling me he's the GOAT. Well, go 90.
Okay, well, he should
take it up a level. Go up to KD levels.
KD a 90% free throw shooter?
He's close.
For a career?
Yeah. No, he's just under it. I think isn't he 89?
And for his 89 career, guess what? LeBron averages more points per game than Kevin Durant. And he's a better free throw shooter, a better three-point shooter. He's a better everything. And they average the same amount of points per game.
I think we'd already be talking about the countdown to Kareem right now if LeBron just could have made 85% of his free throws, right? What are you doing?
So in other words, you want the guy to be perfect. Well, name the guy that had everything.
Not perfect. If you're the GOAT, you should be able to make 85%.
First of all, if Michael Jordan could shoot three-pointers, he'd have had the record.
They didn't shoot three-pointers.
Was they had the line? That's like saying, well, he didn't put his money in the bank. Did they have banks back then?
Unemphasized at that point.
Just because
coaches did not prioritize.
He wasn't a good Skip. The number says he wasn't good. The number says he was 32%. So you shouldn't be. There's a lot of guys.
The numbers say Larry Bird was not a good three-point shooter because he didn't really focus on it because they didn't prioritize
it. A man that won 3 consecutive three-point shooting championships, he wasn't a good three-point shooter.
Okay, well, go look at his numbers.
Hold on, Skip. You told me every time we talk about Joe Harris, you talk about Joe Harris won a three-point competition many years ago. Larry Bird won 3 in a row.
He did.
Name the guy that's ever won 3 in a row.
I witnessed them up close and personal.
So who you want shooting threes? Joe Harris or Larry Bird? He would let Joe Harris a better. So who you want shooting them?
Well, Joe Harris is like the 5th best player on the nothing but nets team.
I mean, sometimes, Skip, just because that don't mean you're not the best shooter.
Okay. So, in the end, I'm going to give you this. Last night on just pure field goals, LeBron passed the great Wilt Chamberlain. That's hard to do. He's now up to 12,682. Or that was when he finger rolled in the first half, and that got him just one ahead of Wilt. And LeBron said after the game, it's very humbling. And I'm thinking, you talking about humble?
Yeah, he's humble.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, you could. Hey.
I couldn't tell.
Guess who has the most 25-point games in NBA history? I'll give you one hint. He wears number 23 in the purple and gold.
Really?
So, Michael Jordan, the greatest scorer ever. Why he don't got more 25-point games than us?
And I thought AB played in the Super Bowl. I thought it was only Antonio Brown, but AB is now LeBron. That's his new nickname, Airball.
Don't do this, Skip.
Oh, Airball James.
You saw what happened last night. I knew as soon as Governor Newsom lifted these restrictions in California, I knew Miss Trip Dub was going to take her butt down to the game. I knew it. She couldn't stay away. She was just waiting. When I drove down in Westwood, restaurants, people just buzzing. I knew as soon as they lifted the restrictions.
Really?
Who in the front row, Skip Bayless?
I heard she's a super spreader, though. I think she's have an outbreak.
Hey, she died there like that woman on Friday in Atlanta.
Yeah,
she was filming everything, got all of it.
She was.
She was following the rules, though.
Yes.
She couldn't tend right away. I love that she's on your Club Shay, Go James, Miss Trip Dub side. Really impressive. She made an appearance. What can we say? I know you're happy about it. You had your moment, Shannon.
Let's get back to the real game.
The real game, the Super Bowl, and of course, the quarterback. So we've got a quarterback matchup, and it really is one for the ages. Tom Brady going for his 7th ring in his 10th Super Bowl appearance, where no other QB has played in more than 5. He's going against his biggest legacy challenger in Patrick Mahomes, who will become the youngest quarterback in NFL history to start 2 Super Bowls. So really, this game has everything. Shannon, which quarterback is under more pressure on Sunday?
Well, for me, I believe it's Brady because Brady has the better team. He has the better roster. I understand that Patrick Mahomes is supposed to win this game. The bettors and Fox Bet and all these other booking houses says the Chiefs are a 3.5 point favorite to win this game. But Skip's Bible, Pro Football Focus, said from top to bottom, the roster, Tampa has the better roster.
And Shannon disqualifies Pro Football Focus at every step.
I do.
Right?
But Skip, but I said this even before I knew Pro Football Focus. I've been telling you, when you look at it from top to bottom, player for player, Tampa roster has better players overall. Now, Kansas City has the more high-profile players, the more explosive of the players. But player for player, I believe Tampa has the better of the group. And look, Tampa has won games this season in which Tom Brady hadn't played great. They did that, Skip. That's fact. How many times have the Chiefs won a game since he's been a starter in which Mahomes hadn't played great? Well, we have to go back and try to pillage through 3 years of work to find a game in which he hasn't played great.
Well, last year's Super Bowl.
He played great, Skip.
He didn't play great.
Skip, see, this is what I don't get.
QBR. You don't like QBR.
This is what I don't get. A guy overcomes something. You always say, well, Tom Brady did this in the 4th quarter when he threw that interception. When Tom Brady did this in the first half, but in the game 4 quarters. Why is it when Patrick Mahomes plays bad in the first half of the first 3 quarters, overcome it, all you tend to do is focus on the negative, what he didn't do? Did he win?
He got away with a lucky completion for 44 yards to Cheetah on 3rd and 15 from his 35.
What about that lucky play?
7 minutes left.
What about that lucky play in the Super Bowl 28-3 when he threw the ball over the middle and the ball should have been intercepted, but it was caught by Edelman? Was that lucky? You never mentioned that.
No, I'll give you that one.
Okay.
Okay, but you're going to give me this one because that was a lucky throw.
That wasn't no lucky
throw. That was up for grabs.
Skip. How many get skipped? Bruce Arians said, There's a throw in the game that he hit McCole Hardman. He's backpedaling. He's retreating, hoping somebody gets open. Bruce Arians says there's not very many guys in the game. There's not been very many guys ever can retreat 20 yards and still throw it 30, 25 yards down the field.
Okay.
That's what he did. There are not very many guys that could have made that throw. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, because he can backfoot a lot of throws down the field. But there are not very many guys that can make that throw. He made an unbelievable play, Skip. I believe the pressure is on Brady.
You have to be extremely fortunate to throw a late third-quarter interception in a Super Bowl down 20-10, and then followed up on the very next possession with an early fourth-quarter interception in the Super Bowl down 20-10 and lived to tell about it. And you know why he lived to tell? Because San Francisco was stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, and he went 3 of 11 in the fourth quarter for a grand total of 36 yards with an interception and a cold miss of Emmanuel Sanders, who was at least a yard free at the goal line, and he missed him by 5 yards for what would have been the game-winning.
Well, what about Jared
touchdown.
Goff?
What about him?
Tom Brady beat him for a Super Bowl. How good is
But
he?
we're talking about Mahomes and the pressure on him right now.
But hold on.
Okay, and you said they can't win with him being substandard. Well, he was. That's below average. His QBR was way below average.
But here's
in
the
Super
thing,
Bowl.
Skip. Because Tom Brady has been to 9 of these things previous, he's won 6 of them. He seems to be always in position to win, which adds pressure of expectation of winning. He went to Tampa for one reason. He saw the roster. He says, I can win a Super Bowl there. He gets to the Super Bowl in his first year. Don't you think that raises the bar? Don't you think that raises the level of expectation?
Absolutely zero. He has done what very, very few people, I being one of those, thought that he could or would do this year. He got that team to a Super Bowl after it went 7-9 last year. This is icing. This is gravy.
Skip.
This is just, hey, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, well, who thought they'd be there in the first place?
This is what I don't get. I always hate it, Skip, because when they say you're playing with house money, if I win $1 million from the casino and I start gambling and I lose, that's my money. I won it. Now, if the house wins it back, what have I done? So you can't say that's house money. He got to that game. He went to Tampa to get to this game. And if he does not win it, it's a huge disappointment.
To him, it is. The only pressure on Tom Brady is what he inflicts upon himself, and that is severe pressure.
Thank you.
Okay? But he will be able to live up to it because that's pressure in your own mind. The biggest outside-in pressure is on the guy on the left, the guy flexing for us.
Why is the pressure on him?
That's what the world thinks of him, is that he's flexing, because most of the world has already decided he is better than that number 12 over here.
Well, Skip, not in the totality. I mean, it's to be said, but he's a better quarterback right now than Tom Brady.
Well, that's what most people think. And by the way,
they're not wrong.
I spent all last night reading predictions just to get the flavor, the flow of how the media world was viewing this game. I'm going to say 75% of the media experts are picking Kansas City. And I know at ESPN, they asked 107 of their people to pick the game, and they actually broke it down. And exactly 75% of their people picked Kansas City to win this game. So when I told you, as we opened the show, I'm picking the upset, in most people's eyes, it would be a big upset if Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes at this stage of his career, because most people think Sunday night will launch a dynasty for Kansas City. Like, this will be the second, and then if they get this one, will they three-peat? Will they four-peat?
Right.
That will be the talk. If your guy wins on Sunday night, that will be the talk on this show on Monday. How many in a row can they win, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the pressure on him.
Ain't no pressure.
Yes, everybody's talking.
When you've done what he's accomplished so quickly, the pressure, once you go 5,000 yards passing in a season, your first year starting, 50 touchdowns, you win the MVP, and then you follow that up with the Super Bowl. Skip, what other pressure can there be added?
Okay, but what did Tom Brady say yesterday? I'm sure this drove you crazy too. We'll be better next year. Well, they will.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be better. And by the way, do not underestimate, at your own risk and peril, this story, because if Brady somehow pulls this one off, having gone 2 Brees, 2 Rodgers, and then beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, if he pulls that off, I think we might flip that script and start talking about a Tampa dynasty, his second dynasty. Is that possible? Because, hey,
if you say he's going to play more than, play longer than 45.
Hey, if he's going to play, 3 more years, seriously, if he pulls this off and they're going to be better next year, Could they win next year? Sure they could.
Yeah.
Could they maybe win 3 in a row? Sure they could.
But let me ask you a question. Do you think Kansas City, when they get their starters back, they get Fisher, they get Schwartz back, they get the guard back, do you think they'll be better?
Sure. I would hope so. All right. But that means, are you saying you're doubting that they're going to win this game?
No, Skip. Because somebody can be better, you can win, Skip. For me, I believe the 97 team was better than the 98 team. But some people believe the 98 team was better. Okay, fine. But because we had Zim, we had a two-time all-decade player playing left tackle, and we had T-Bone, rest his soul, one of my teammates this past couple of weeks ago.
You're talking about Zimmerman.
Gary Zimmerman. At left tackle, and we had T-Bone, who was a Pro Bowl player at right tackle.
Okay.
We were loaded. So I felt the 97 team was better than the 98.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, Skip, we're going to talk about we get the 2021, 2022 Super Bowl a little later.
But how many of his teammates this Super Bowl week have proclaimed him the GOAT? They all have.
Then they got to predict, Skip.
Yes, they do. Chris Jones and Clark.
Everybody knows.
Honey Badger. They all say he's the GOAT.
Skip.
If you say everybody knows, then the pressure's on the kid.
Ain't no pressure on him.
Yes, there is. There's huge pressure.
He still don't realize. He doesn't even realize how good he is.
Huh.
Skip, what's known shouldn't have to be said.
I think he full well realizes how good he is, because that's how he's talking.
What's known doesn't have to be said.
Tom is one of the greatest ever, if not the great. Really?
Skip, I always go back to that Billie Holiday song. I love it.
Okay.
She said, hush, now don't explain.
Okay. So?
I shouldn't have to explain anything about my homeboy. You watched him over the last 3 years. What should I have to explain? What is it that you don't know that you need to know?
I don't know what she's talking about in the song.
Yeah, you know.
Well, is it because he was wayward?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think most women would say, I need an explanation on that.
But you said, no, don't explain. Don't explain.
Now, boy, who wouldn't want that woman?
No, you want that explanation. But anyway, Skip, look, because see, when I try to explain it to you, all you gonna do is say you making it up, you lying. And so basically what she said, all you gonna do is lie to me. So I don't wanna hear it. Don't worry about it. That guy right there on the left.
Yep. Well, he's impervious to pressure.
As they Skip, you feel pressure when you're unprepared. When you're not prepared for the moment. When they call him the pyrotechnic in red, white, and gold. Boom, boom.
Are you suggesting that with 2 weeks to prepare that Tom Brady will not be prepared for this game?
Here. As a matter of fact, he'll be overly prepared.
I would think so.
Brian Westbrook, I think he said, Andy Reid normally for a Super Bowl, he sleep 2-3 days in his office. Coming up with that thing. Like the Minority Report. You remember that Tom Cruise movie?
Yep. Okay.
Which means I see a 400. I see a 4 bill. I see Mahomes with 4 bills, Skip.
Really?
I see it with 4 bills.
Well, since he's favored by 3, I will bet 3 cases of Diet Dew with 3 points right here, right now. Do it.
We're going to do straight
up. Do the Dew.
No, hold on, Skip.
But you have the courage of your convictions.
He going to
get you told me he's the GOAT. You just told me he's the GOAT.
A 10-time Super Bowl participant, a 6-time winner. He got double the touchdowns than anybody in the postseason playing.
Good.
The double the yards.
You convinced me.
Oh, exactly.
I'll take 3 for 3 right now. Why not? Somebody is talking out of both sides of somebody's mouth.
I ain't talking out of no side. I got my homeboy going to do the thing on you on Sunday night.
Okay. I'll take 3 points for 3 cases.
I got a feeling. Jenny, the parade gonna happen again. You remember what happened to the Lakers? I was riding the 405. I got a feeling the parade coming out Sunday night.
Really?
Yeah. Today, right now.
Well, you might be a single-car parade
I just
in
don't
LA.
know if you should do that. That's a jinx, if you ask me.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes, touchdown! Kelsey, and he lives and dies, touchdown! Kansas City, yes! The Chiefs are back-to-back AFC champions, ready to run it back. They are headed to Super Bowl 55 to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Chiefs CEO Clark Hunt is all in on Patrick Mahomes. And after all, he did sign him to a 10-year, $500 million contract. And in a radio appearance this week, Hunt LeBron compared Mahomes to the one and only Michael Jordan, saying, quote, "It's amazing the success that Patrick has had so early in his career. I mean, really, more so than Michael Jordan had early in his career. It took Michael a few years before he got his first championship, and Patrick, in year one, had us on the cusp of making the Super Bowl." So, Shannon, do you agree that Mahomes is off to a better start to his career than MJ?
Yeah, it's not even close in terms of their pro career, Skip. Mahomes is off to the best start that we've ever seen for a quarterback in his young career. You figure he won the MVP in his second season, his first season as a starter. He was Super Bowl MVP in his third season, second season as a starter. He's made the Pro Bowl every single year. He's 25 wins and one loss in his last 26 games. And he's reached the AFC Championship game in all 3 years, and all three of them have been held in Kansas City. Jordan didn't have that level of team success, Skip. He was an outstanding player, but he didn't enjoy the level of team success. His team didn't win a playoff series until his fourth season, didn't reach the finals until his seventh season, and didn't win his first MVP until his fourth season. So when you just look at it, Skip, when you just look at, okay, he did this, 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 and this, and Jordan was not thought of as the best player in year 2 or year 3 in the league. That was still went to Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. So for me, Skip, I don't think it's close. Now, we know what once Michael started winning MVPs, once Michael got through the won his first championship, we know what he became. But to start a career, Skip, I don't believe it's close. I don't believe a player in the NFL has had a career in his first 3 years as a starter comparable to this young man. And I definitely don't think Mike had a career comparable to his.
Shannon, you got to step back from this and say, what are you doing?
What?
This is a Lord have mercy. Help him, Lord. He knows not of what he speaks.
Only if he's lying. Did he tell a lie? Correct the lie, and we can move forward.
This is difficult for me because I knew Clark Hunt when he was a little kid, because I knew his mama and his daddy very well, and they're very special people, as you know. Lamar Hunt, Norma's wife.
The AFC Championship trophy is named after him. He called the Super Bowl.
And Clark is a good man who's right now stuck on a runaway train that is in danger of leaving the tracks. He just invoked the name, just unsolicited, of Michael Jeffrey Jordan and put Patrick in the same sentence with Jordan. You got to stop it. You got to give me a break, give us a break, and especially give Patrick a break, because you don't need to go there. The comparison, I'm sorry, it is just so wrong, because Jordan joined the worst team in the league. It was one of the worst, and it was just horrible for the first 3 years, and he kept it barely afloat until Scotty got there. At least he had one credible teammate, and then they just took off in their fourth year and went 50-32 after 3 losing seasons. And in that second season, they went 30-52 because he missed just about the whole year, as you know, with a broken foot. And he came back for the final month, played sparingly on a minutes count, and then he goes to Boston Garden and scores 63 on the Celtics, and Larry Bird said, I think it was God disguised as Michael Jordan. Well, that's who he was then. He was doing sensational things with no help. So now let's flip it over and look at what happened to Patrick Mahomes. It was rigged for him to be great out of the box, because look what he inherited. You want to talk about a silver platter.
How many playoff games did Alex Smith win for Kansas City?
Okay, here's the point. With Alex Smith at quarterback in 2015, 2016, and 2017, here are the records: 11-5, 12-4, and 10-6. They did not win their playoff game, but guess what? Yeah, here's an for you. Help me out. Travis Kelce made Pro Bowl teams all 3 of those years and made first-team All-Pro one of those years. That's Travis Kelce. He was already there. He was playing at the supreme level that we see now already.
I didn't hear anybody
3 Pro Bowls.
Skip. Everybody was talking about Gronk.
Tyreek was a rookie in 2016, so he played 2016 and 2017 without Patrick. And guess what he did? He made 2 Pro Bowls and made first-team All-Pro.
As what?
First-team All-Pro.
As what? You got to tell the people what he made first-team All-Pro as. As a receiver or as a returner?
Shannon.
Oh, okay.
They were special already. who is the best offensive mind in the game? It's obviously Andy Reid. Who handpicked Patrick Mahomes and said, I'm going to make you a star? It was Andy Reid. So when he made him sit for a year and watch for a year, and then he says, here, I'm going to hand you the keys, but you can drive, man. I know you're not quite of driving age, but I'm just going to give you the car. I'm going to give you the Ferrari, and you can just drive it all over the road because I don't really care.
Right. But
I want you to make me look special.
But, Skip, I thought you said playoffs is where it's at. You said that these great regular season numbers, but you said you didn't care because that's what you ripped Peyton Manning for. Peyton Manning had these great stats. They had these great records, but come playoff times, he couldn't get it done, and you and others ripped him. Alex Smith had these great numbers. Come playoff times, even as he had an 18-point lead against the Tennessee Titans, he gagged it. He had, He was up 21-24 against Indy, and Andrew Luck walked him down. So you keep telling me he was doing all these great things, but he didn't have playoff success. Now, all of a sudden, that kid goes there, and in the regular season, he's 38-8.
You know what? You got me. Patrick Mahomes is better than Alex Smith. You got me on that one. I will give you that.
Skip, all Clark Hunt said, if you look at the first 4 years...
Why would you even bring up the name?
Why not?
Because you're saying he's going to be better than Michael Jordan.
That's not what he said.
That's where you're heading.
Said, that ain't what he said.
That's the suggestion, the implication.
No, ain't no implication. No, Skip. If you let me, I'm going to tell you exactly what I want to say. I don't want you to infer anything from what I said. I told you what I said. If you look at the first 4 years of their career, Patrick Mahomes has had a better start to his career than Michael Jordan. Don't infer anything else after that. That's it.
People were watching Jordan saying, we've never seen anything like
what you think they said about him? You just said they already said he to go.
Okay, I want you on the record right now. Is he going to have a better career than Michael Jordan?
No, because that's not what Clark Hunt said. No. Clark Hunt said he had a better start to his career than Michael Jordan. He didn't say he's going to have a better career. You see what you tried to do?
It's also disrespectful to the quarterback on the other sideline on Sunday night because that quarterback in his first year starting went 11-3 in the regular season, and he inherited, guess what, a team that went 5-11 the year before and was 0-2 when he fell out of heaven into Belichick's lap after Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Right.
And he went 11-3 the rest of the way, and he won the Tuck Rule game. I'll be the first to tell you, he shouldn't have won it.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, in the next year, after they won the Super Bowl, what happened the next year?
Well, I'm not finished yet because in the Tuck Rule game, he threw for 238 yards, did Tom Brady in the second half in a driving snow. Nobody noticed because it was unspectacularly spectacular.
Well, first of all, anything that happened after the Tuck, after you get a reprieve like that, nothing else should matter. He shouldn't have thrown for another yard. The game should have ended.
Okay.
You know that, I know that.
Okay.
But you still ain't told the people what happened after 2001.
But no. And then he goes to the Super Bowl against the greatest show on turf. John Madden's up in the TV booth at the end of the game saying, you know what, you got to shut it down, take this kid out of harm's way. And to Belichick's credit, he said, let him throw.
Right.
And he threw through three. He makes 5 straight completions. Second to last was for 23 yards to Troy Brown to set up that was a 54-yard field goal. And then he throws 6 more yards to David Patton, and it sets up a 48-yard field goal, and they win the game. The first game-winning drive to win a ring by Tom Brady, he's the MVP of the game. And in his third year, he's the MVP of a shootout Super Bowl against Carolina. And we're saying, this kid's had a better start to his career?
Actually, Skip, that was his 4th year because in 2002, they missed the playoffs. They were 8-8.
No, but I'm saying in his 3rd year starting.
Yeah, my third year starting.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. In those first 4 years for Tom Brady, who said Tom Brady was the best player, the best quarterback in the game?
Nobody ever does. Nobody ever has. He's the most underappreciated player in the history of this league.
There was a time that people said Tom Brady is the best quarterback. But
I don't know about that.
None of that was in the first 4 years of his career. He didn't win an MVP until the 8th year of his career.
Okay, what if I told you all along? There's no wow factor. He does not sell because he is textbook precision clutch. He's long drive clutch. He's almost clutch beyond the naked eye. It's hard to process just how beautifully he's playing the game of football, but he doesn't have that kid's wow factor. He doesn't throw no looks. He doesn't throw it behind the back or between the legs or left-handed. Nope. He just completes passes.
So what does he do? I mean, you may see the thing is with Skip, you make it seem like he's all show he's all flash with no substance.
No, there's a
yes,
lot.
yes, he's frosting, but it's a damn good cake up underneath that frosting. Don't pretend like he can't play and he's just throwing no looks. I ain't gonna let you do that.
Okay, but in the first 3 years of starting, I'll take Brady. Man,
What
how do you top that?
Easy. Look, Skip, your guy won Super Bowl MVP throwing for 140 yards. 140.
Well, then he won it throwing for, what was it, like 340 against Carolina?
That guy had more touchdowns in his first year of starting than Brady did in his first 2 years of starting.
Game's different. Andy Reid is different.
It wasn't different for Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, they let Peyton Manning throw the ball. Why?
Okay, remember, Tom Brady was having to win in spite of a defensive head coach named Bill Belichick.
Skip, you know good and well, Tom Brady could not do the thing this early in his career like this kid. Don't do that.
No,
That's not
I disagree with that. When you pull off against I covered those Raiders. They were better than the Patriots that year, and he beat them. He got one great break on one play, but he beat them. He outplayed Rich Gannon. He just did.
Skip,
You're not giving him credit,
Skip,
and I love it.
Skip.
Underappreciated.
Skip, that's like saying, I started this great business, but I got a $50 million loan from someone. Really? You started it?
What are you talking about? 50?
He got that one break. The break was everything.
I mean, he's the one who got the $50 million loan. He got Kelsey and Tyreek, Pro Bowlers, perennial Pro Bowlers. Thank you, God.
So they had no Pro Bowlers on the Patriots.
Go look how many Pro Bowlers Tom Brady had in his first 3 years of starting. Go look.
How many on defense?
I dare you to go
look. How many on defense?
I'm talking about offensive weapons. He had Troy Brown his first year, and that was it.
They were
the next 2 years, they had zero Pro Bowlers on offense.
They were a defensive team.
Oh. Well, go look at the numbers he put up against Carolina. Go look.
This game has everything. It has every storyline. We've hit so many of them.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will try to become the NFL's first repeat champ in 16 years when they face Tom Brady and the Bucs Sunday in Super Bowl 55. Tampa Bay will be the first NFL team to play a Super Bowl in its home stadium, which is also pretty impressive. Fox Sports NFL analyst Michael Vick is now joining us. Mike, it has been a wild season, to say the least. I got to ask, who wins on Sunday?
Well, this is what it all boils down to. You know, we finally made it to the finale, and certainly greatly appreciative to have a chance to witness this. And I look forward to Sunday. But look, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs, 34-27. I got them winning by a touchdown, and I'm picking them for pretty much all the reasons why we picked them all year. And Patrick Mahomes, he's one of the top athletes in the game, if not one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And it's hard to pick against him. Picking against Patrick right now is like picking against Aaron Rodgers when he was like in his prime. I'm talking about year 3, 4, 5 when, the man could really do no wrong. And that's where I see Patrick in this position right now. And then I think about a couple other things, but mostly, the Steve Spagnuolo and Tom Brady, that battle. Can Tom crack the code? I know Steve has had success against Tom, in the past on multiple occasions and once this season. Can Tom crack the code? Can Tom beat Steve Spagnuolo's defense? And Spags is one of the best coordinators in the game. It's one of the reasons that Andy went and got him. It's a reason why this team is at the top echelon of the league right now and why they win in football games. So, I think my decision right now and what I'm thinking, it's not a hasty decision in terms of why I'm picking the Chiefs. It's the rightful decision. And if Tom can crack that code, then Tom will be victorious.
Go ahead. I know you got something.
Michael Vick, it's ironic that you said there's one guy you don't bet against in today's National Football League. It's Shannon's guy, my homeboy. And yet, over many years, studying, watching, observing closely Tom Brady, I always say, I've learned the hard way. There's one man in sports I'd never bet against, especially with the stakes highest and pressure greatest, and it's that guy, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I think this game is going to be much lower scoring than most people think. I'm going Tampa Bay 23-20. And this game is going to boil down to Brady playing keep away from Mahomes and the Bucs defense playing take away from Mahomes, because this Bucs defense, very quietly, led the whole National Football League in takeaways. That's what they do best. They disrupt. They bring heat on the quarterback. And now that Mahomes is down both starting tackles, the whole line is just beat all to hell to me. You got backups everywhere. Andy kept saying this week, well, we have our offensive linemen practice at every position so they can mix and match fine. I got that. I'm sure they'll be credible on Sunday night.
But you need to be more than credible against JPP.
That's what I'm saying. But I think they'll do the best they can with what they have. But it won't be enough because Vita Vea is back. And he is a force in the middle of that front. And he can just wreck the middle of the pocket. Sue is still, he's not what he used to be, but he's still pretty good. And he'll have 2 or 3 big rushes in the game. And JPP and Shaq Barrett can just fly with force off the edge. And I think Patrick's going to be under more fire than he's ever been, certainly in any playoff game. And I believe that's going to lead to some desperate mistakes. And I think this defense seizes mistakes the way no defense in pro football this year has. So I think they're going to turn it over 3 times. I'm not sure how, maybe via interception, maybe sack fumble, maybe catch fumble. But I think there are going to be 3 turnovers in this game. And I think Brady will not turn the ball over the way he did twice in the third quarter of that November 29th game at Tampa. And he's going to be just vintage, classic, masterpiece Brady, long drives, ball control. They lost the time of possession on November 29th, 37 minutes to 21. You can't do it that way this time with both your safeties iffy to play the game. So if they can keep the ball away from Mahomes, which I think they will, I think you'll see a lower scoring battle. And I think Brady will have his 7th game-winning drive in the fourth quarter at Super Bowls, overtime of Super Bowls, to win his 7th ring with a late field goal, 23-20 Bucs.
Well, you make a good point, but here's the thing, Skip. When I look at these teams, I believe Tampa has the better of the 2 running teams. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has had a game here or there, Skip, where he ran the ball, got over 100 yards. He opened against the Texans, ran great. Remember, he went to Buffalo. I think it was a Thursday-something game. He played an unbelievable game. But for the most part, there's a reason they went out and signed Le'Veon Bell. Because for whatever reason, he wasn't being able to get it done consistently. The question is, who is going to be able to run the ball the best? Because at some point in time, Skip, you get a lead, hey, let's run the football. That, even though they didn't run the football last time, Skip, they threw the ball for the first down. Remember Tyreek? They rolled Patrick Mahomes and they threw for it.
Yeah, but it was a scramble play. It was a roll. I mean, it was a roll.
Yeah, it was a roll. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at 2 things, Mike. Which team can get the ball once they get into the red zone, can cash touchdowns instead of field goals? Kansas City did a great job last 2 weeks ago against Buffalo. Once they got the ball into the red zone, they got the ball in the end zone. But if you look at what Tampa has done against Washington, against New Orleans, against Green Bay, when they got that ball into the red zone, they made them settle for field goals. That's the difference. If Aaron Rodgers cashes one of those, Skip, we might be having a different story.
Agreed.
So the question is, when either team gets into the red zone, who's going to bolt their back the stiffest and says, okay, you either get 3 or you get nothing, but you're not getting the ball in the end zone. And also, Shaq Barrett and JPP. You got to block them, Skip. It's simple as that. Because if they can get home with 4 without sacrificing that back end, it's going to be a long day for Kansas City. But I got the Chiefs winning 38-34 because I believe it's going to be a shootout because I don't love either defense. I think that they're solid. They can make plays in timely situations. But I think with the momentum, Skip, because what happens in a game like this, a team will score and then somebody go 3 and out, the momentum will swing, and then you'll run off 10, 14 points, 17 points, and then the other team will get the momentum, and they'll run off some points. And so I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a very, very high-scoring game. I believe both guys are going to go over 300-plus yards passing. I know, Skip, you don't believe that.
I do not.
But I believe both guys are going over 300.
Just keep an eye out on Kansas City's pace of play, opening up the game. Like, if you think that Andy's going
No, he probably no huddle.
Allow Patrick to just sit in that pocket and have call plays, so he just sitting and got long developing routes.
Oh, he gonna put him on the move.
Mistaken.
He gonna put him on the move.
Guys are gonna be on the move. It's gonna
especially
be
early.
Misdirection. Man, trust me, he knows how to negate pressure. The one thing we always talked about is negating pressure and how to take it away. Now, I won't sit here and talk about what the game plan could be, because I know both teams may be watching. We want this to be our equal and fair and square.
Yeah.
Even Steven all across the board. But The man know how to negate pressure. I'm not saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't know how to do the same on the other side, but I think what it's going to all come down to is who get guys moving in space, what defense can run from sideline to sideline, and who can capitalize on third downs on both sides of the ball.
Wait, Michael, are you suggesting you have inside information from your former coach, Andy Reid?
Nah, I stay out of the way during the season. This is his time, not mine.
Skip, also, if you look at, we talked about this yesterday, about what Kansas City did to Tampa, is that the pressure that they brought, but they caught them by surprise. The element of surprise, because that's not what
48%.
That's not what Kansas City normally do.
Okay.
And so and Tampa took the other approach. They normally blitz and say, "Nah, we just gonna sit this thing back." Okay. Now somebody's gonna have to get out of character.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna have to do something that they didn't do before in order to hope for a different result. Because Kansas City started out dialing up pressure, and it bothered Tom early. And you heard Cam Jordan, you got to get that pressure early. You got to get people nipping at his feet. Even if you don't get him on the ground, you got to let him know that you're there. Because if he gets comfortable, man, if he put them Ugg shoes on and get that old nice big old house coat on and he get comfortable on you,
look out.
You're in a heap of trouble.
Okay, I also think the Brady offense will play completely out of character and try to catch Kansas City and Spagnuolo by surprise, because what did they do best? It was no risk it, no biscuit.
Right.
Tom Brady led this league with 36 big-time throws during the regular season. That's 20-plus yard completions. He led this league in the playoffs in 20-plus yard completions. I say they dial it back down. I say Tom will be the driving force to say, let's try to control the ball. We'll take a shot here or there, but let's try to get AB open underneath. Let's try to hit Cameron Brate more. Let's try to hit Mike Evans on shorter routes, on quick turn-in routes. Let's make Leonard Fournette the centerpiece of our game plan. Let's run him more. Let's flip it to him more, because he does catch the ball, and he's been coming alive as a receiver for Tom Brady.
That's why I'm going to be surprised, Mike, if Spag starts the game off dialing up pressure, because the element of surprise is no longer there. Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich says, okay, this is what they gave us this time. We didn't anticipate this kind of pressure, but if they do it this time, this is where we're going to go. So they've kind of built their offense around hoping to get pressure early. I'm going to feel it out. And now if I can't get home with 4, I'm going to have no choice but to bring an extra guy. But I'm not going to start off and give Tom Brady, play right into his hands, because he's expecting me to come. Once you lose the element of surprise in football, it's over.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Tom needs to be expecting what he's seen, from previous meetings between him and Spags. That's all I can say.
No mercy, and I won't back down.
20 years as a New England Patriot. What a ride it's been for Tom Brady.
Patriots have won unbelievable.
For the third time in the last 4 years, the Patriots celebrate winning the Lombardi Trophy.
The New England Patriots are the NFL champions.
Brady has his 5th. What a comeback. 6 titles.
Enjoy it, folks. You're never, ever going to see it again. Not in our lifetime.
Well, there are few quarterbacks in NFL history who've minimized sacks as much as Brady and Mahomes. Of all active QBs in the league, Mahomes has the best career sack percentage, while Brady is 3rd. And Frank Clark had some interesting praise for Brady's elusiveness. So listen up, guys. This is what he said. He's got these shoulders. Have you ever seen Tom Brady's shoulders when he's in that pocket? His shoulders are crazy sometimes. Man, to be able to move his shoulders like that, playing in the league for 20, 30-some years, for him to be able to move his shoulders like that still is quite amazing. It's nothing against him, but he's not an escape artist. But it's like, honestly, sometimes he's just as good as Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is the best. And you watch Tom Brady in that pocket, man, and sometimes you can't tell the difference. You can't. Mike, are Tom Brady's shoulder movements an underrated ability of his to avoid these sacks?
You know what, Jenny, I don't think it's underrated. I think it's evident. We've seen it all season long, and the biggest reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had the success they've had down the stretch after the Chicago game was because of Tom Brady and his movement in the pocket. And, he's just not slide. He's moving with conviction. He's pushing up. He's pushing out. He's putting himself in a position where he can keep his eyes downfield and not feeling under duress and not panicking. And sometimes improv is not just getting outside of the pocket or pushing up and scrambling to your right. It's the subtle movements that, we have to practice numerously. And, on a lot of different occasions, when you do it, you become comfortable with it, and then it shows up in the game. Being in the pocket is just a natural instinct. We have our eyes downfield, and we're not paying attention to the pass rush, so it's something that we constantly have to work on. And when I look at these clips and I see, Tom moving around, around blocking dummies and doing cone drills, those are things that I didn't do in year 11, 12, and 13. And Tom is showing not only us, but the young quarterbacks, the next generation, how important those things are, and they need to be paying attention to it. So, it's not surprising that Tom is in this game. I've seen him move with conviction, down the stretch, and it's the biggest reason why he's been able to find his receivers and the offense is clicking because, he's buying that extra time that he didn't have in the first 5 or 6 games of the season, and it's paying off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. You see Tom, he does a great job of climbing in the pocket. Skip, he does a great job of holding the ball. And what he has is a sense that somebody's about to swipe and he'll do this.
He does.
Or he'll do that.
Yep.
And but he keeps the ball here. So as soon as he does this, he's ready to throw the ball. So okay, now I can do this. And the really good ones, like Mike says, they sense it, they feel it. He knows somebody's coming with. It's amazing that he knows somebody's trying to come with the chop and get the ball out, Skip, and he'll roll his shoulder like this, and he's like, I got nothing. And now he comes up and he throws a dart to someone. And so he does.
Frank Clark said that Chris Jones thought he had him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's just swiping it air because he shoulder shimmied him.
Yes.
Right?
That's exactly right. Yes. It's but Skip, unless you're a real football aficionado, you're not really paying attention like that. You're looking at guys that's getting outside the pocket and they're throwing the ball down the field, but it's the little subtleties. I'm not surprised that Patrick Mahomes has one of the better sack rate percentages because Patrick Mahomes is mobile.
Well,
he can get outside of harm's way. But when you look at
he's underrated mobile.
Right.
I agree.
But when you look at Tom Brady, who's moved less than the Statue of Liberty in 250 years,
right,
and he has a low sack rate, you're like, wait a minute. But Dan Marino was like that too, Skip. It was just a little thing. He turned him, ball's gone. So Tom has done a great job of that, and it's all about, that's how you survive in this league, Skip. And he knows Tom ain't taking no hit. Skip, if you saw early in the game against Green Bay, they got it. He's like, I'm going down. Hey,
thank you very much.
It's about to be second. It'll be second and 15, but you're not going to get no big shot on me.
Nope. So here's what's amazing about this conversation to me. I have the privilege of sitting here across from a Hall of Famer in Shannon Sharpe, and I also have the privilege of speaking down the barrel of the camera to one Michael Vick, who is simply the most spectacular quarterback who ever played professional football. He was the most dangerous, exciting open field runner I have ever seen. That's just me. And by the way, Michael Vick had a much stronger arm than Tom Brady has. Yeah. That's just me. Yet, here we are, we're trying to delve the deepest into Tom Brady's greatness, and we have to focus on his shoulder shimmies because his spectacular is so subtle that it boils down to that. I've always defended Brady saying he's got some of the sweetest pocket feet I've ever seen because it's innate, it's sixth sense. I feel the rush, and I have to slide step here just to give me a split second more before I deliver the ball there. Right. Well, it's hard, man, and it's underrated because to the untrained eye, it just comes and goes. Right. You can't grasp it until you see the final score on the scoreboard. That's the only way you can appreciate what the guy is doing. But this sums up Brady's subtle greatness to me. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
No looks, no left-handed, no behind the back, no between the legs. He just keeps operating subtly in the pocket and delivering accurate passes, very catchably, down the field, under pressure in the biggest moments. So, Michael, jump back in. How hard is it for you to appreciate Brady's greatness knowing you came from the flip side of Tom Brady?
Yeah, let me just say this first, Skip. Here's what validates what Frank Clark said. And, when I'm thinking about Tom Brady and his pocket presence and the things that he's been able to do, you watch Tom early in the season. I seen Tom flinching a lot in the pocket. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, oh, my God, Tom's getting old. Tom's not comfortable in the pocket. You're seeing ghosts. And it's a joke in the quarterback world. If you watching film and you see a guy seeing ghosts flinching in the pocket. It wasn't funny when I was watching Tom. I'm like, damn, my man just getting older. And he's not feeling it. 3 to 4 weeks later, he's a totally different quarterback. Confident, pushing in the pocket, pushing strong. Just the sixth sense was there. And, from him to go from, struggling in the beginning of the year with that ailment and then finding a way to fix it just solidifies why he's the GOAT and the greatest of all time. When you can go from, getting yourself out of danger, getting yourself out of duress, to being focused and confident in a clean pocket and being sturdy and confident, it solidifies why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. And these young quarterbacks coming up, I'll say it again, I reiterate it, they should feel so privileged to be able to watch film on guys like Brady and Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, because they do it at a high level and they do it with meaning, with a meaning.
When you look at guys that have had great longevity, regardless of the sport, if you just rely on athleticism, as the athleticism starts to wane, so will your career. Tom Brady has never been athletic, Skip, so he had to rely on technique. That's why technicians can stay longer in a given sport than guys that are just pure athletes.
Yep.
You look at Tom. Tom is 21 years, but he's never relied on speed. He's never relied on size. He's never relied on strength. It's the subtleties of the game. You look at Jerry. Jerry was able to play as long as he was because he wasn't just speed. So once you take that speed away, what can you do? So Jerry relied on technique. He could get in and out of breaks. He could decelerate, accelerate again, where it wasn't just he running 4-2. So he was able to play long periods of time.
Yep.
Larry Fitzgerald, you look at guys that play long periods of time,
that's true.
They're not just athletic, they're also technicians. So that's what I tell guys, work on your technique, because I promise you, you might come in running 4-3. There's a great likelihood you're not going to leave running 4-3. It's the subtleties. It was the little head movements, the shoulder movements that kept me at still being able to run routes in year 14, Skip, and get open and catch some touchdowns. So what Brady's been able to do, when you see him going through those dummies, Skip, those are offensive linemen that he's maneuvering through. But he also knows, I got to protect the ball because they might be engaged with a defensive lineman, and they're going to try to get the ball out.
Yep.
He's mastered that. He has a sense to know what's around him. Oh, I'm coming between these linemen. They're probably blocking somebody. Let me protect this ball.
Yep.
Very few times do you see him get the ball out of Tom in a situation like that.
Okay. So, to me, bottom line, given that most people believe Tom Brady is the GOAT, he's also got to be the greatest overachiever, to me, in sports history, given that status, because he's not supremely gifted.
He don't run fast. He don't jump high. He's not strong.
He's got a little above average arm, but he doesn't have a huge arm. Right?
Yeah,
he gets the most that he can get out of it.
Well, we know he's the slowest quarterback.
Right?
All the quarterbacks that run, he's the slowest boy right now, Skip.
Well, you saw that 40 he ran at the combine.
I mean, at his fastest, he's the slowest quarterback ever.
Okay. And yet, what did he say? And you thought it was a joke, I think, but he said yesterday, this offseason, I'm going to work on my speed.
It ain't happening. First of all, his shoes too heavy. He wear high-top shoes. You ain't running fast with no high tops on.
No. Message to all the young quarterbacks coming up. If you don't want to get joked, don't see ghosts. Work on your pocket.
Good point.
Such a good point. Mike, it has been such a pleasure all season to have you with us. We appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the game, and good luck. If you're rooting for the Chiefs, we'll have to see how it plays out on Monday.
No mercy.
New tracks, new teams, and a new champ. The 2021 NASCAR season starts in just 9 days with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, February 14th, only on Fox. Out this. All right, we need to talk a little bit more about the Lakers last night. I told you guys Snoop would be joining us very soon, but in just a couple minutes, Shannon, this is your opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the Lakers last night. What we saw from LeBron, his performance, and of course, Miss Trip Dub, who paid a visit.
Wait, I've already heard enough.
Yeah.
No.
I'm done.
You done? You need to know with Trip Dub, Skip. Skip, I'm looking at the Lakers, and I see they're 17-6, which is, I think they're tied for the best record with the Clippers overall record in the NBA. But I don't think they're a better team, at least not yet. Now, I think they're different. I think they're deeper, but I don't think they're better. AD scoring is down 4 points per game. They lose a lot of rebounding and shot blocking with JaVale no longer being there and Dwight Howard not being there. But the defensive rating, they're better defensively, number one, as opposed to number 3. But Skip, they were 20-3 last year at this time. And so Marc Gasol's got to give us something. I know you told us. You told me he was like an iceberg. He's very slow, and he got to go get from point A to point B in a hurry. But Skip, he's got to give us more than what he's given us. 2 points, 4 or 5 fouls on a nightly basis. That's not nearly good enough considering what JaVale and Dwight gave us on a nightly basis.
I'm sick and tired of hearing you talk. I would rather hear Snoop talk. Are we close?
Oh, you know what?
There go my nephew.
The one, the only Lakers super fan, of course, our good friend Snoop is joining us. He just wanted to give us a little bit to wait for right now. Snoop, I know that you watched the Lakers last night. You saw what LeBron did. Are the Lakers even better than they were last year?
It's kind of hard to say that we better than we were last year because last year we won a championship.
Right.
So I think we just in the stages as far as getting to know each other. You remember that song, Getting to Know You?
Yes.
Getting to know about you. We're trying to learn our team right now. Like he said, Gasol moving a little bit slow. We missing Dwight and JaVale with the height as far as the height and being able to make people, stay outside. But I just feel like we're going to be all right. LeBron don't never put a team together that don't come through. I feel like he got all of the right pieces. I like Schroeder. I like the way that Kuzma's playing, Caruso. I just like the way the team feel right now, and I feel like they're going to...
Kuzma playing well. I love what I saw from Kuzma last night. I think Snoop, finally he realized that, you know what? I can impact the game in other ways than just scoring. I can rebound the ball. I can play defense. He had like 3 or 4 block shots. I can set good quality screens. I just don't need to just score the basketball to have an impact on the game. And what I've seen over the last 4 or 5 games, the Lakers can win with that.
Right. I think he's mentally sharp now. Before he was just, shooting and trying to figure it out. Now he's understanding the mental, capacity that you have to win a championship. And I feel like LeBron has taught them that as far as like playing your role. Even when LeBron won his first championship, he had to come in playing a role. You understand what I'm saying? So it's role playing. Then he learned how to become a leader.
Snoop, I'm a little surprised. You've dialed it down a little bit about the Lakers. I'm impressed. I was very impressed with the way they played in the second half last night, but I'm impressed that you're just going slow but sure. You think they have some growing to do?
I think last year was harder for us to win, if you really want to look at it, because, it was stacked against us last year. This year, I feel like the East got more to offer. You know what I'm saying? Last year was West heavy. This year, it's kind of like distributed evenly. And then you're watching Golden State. They doing their thing without Clay. You watching the Nets do their thing. You watching the Sixers. You just watching a couple of teams that's, that could possibly shake up something, but you can't sleep on the Heat. You can't sleep on the Bucs. You can't sleep on a few teams, but it's still early. And, it may be some trades. It may be some injuries. It may be some things that happen. That's why I'm patient, and I understand that we playing for this right here, man. It's all about getting this. You understand me?
Hey, nephew, I know who we not worried about. I know who we not worried about.
Well, it sounds like he's sleeping on that team. You mean that team that stays in the basement at Staples?
Yeah, them. The sleepers. I mean, the Clippers.
What do you see in the Clippers? You don't think they're improved this year?
No, I'm not going to lie. They look damn good. Paul George looks amazing. I can't even front. They look amazing. But I'm waiting for the playoff because they seem to have a great regular season all the time, but just can't seem to get over the hump. So it's all about playoff into the Western Conference Final. It's about them championship or bust, and that should be their gameplay. And I respect the players over there, the owners, the coaches, the whole nine. I'm a Laker fan, diehard, but if you want to win a championship, it's got to be championship or bust right now for the Clippers, because if they don't get it now, they're not going to never get it.
So before we leave the Lakers behind, how much are you missing Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee in the middle of that, especially that defense?
Actually, I do miss them, Skip, because they did create a lot of havoc as far as making people readjust their thoughts and, come in with a different perspective. But I feel like it's a new dimension that you're dealing with now. Last year, you had to scheme to those guys. Now you got to scheme to this. So I like the way that we mixing and matching. And I wish JaVale and Dwight a lot of success, and Rondo for what they did for us last year, and Danny Green. We congratulate y'all. Thank y'all.
But we got Trez now. We got THT. THT a baller. Nephew, you see him getting that thing. Still, only reason he playing, he a clutch client. No, he clutch.
They said it. Yes, when they give you 3 letters, when they first start calling me DOG, when they put 3 letters on you, man, you special when they give you 3.
Okay, you like that then. Okay, that's what I like to hear.
I love that. I love him, man, because he's silent. He don't do no talking, I ain't never seen him do an interview.
Nah. But he's just a straight baller, straight energy.
Well, I want to know how much either of you guys love your new center who spells his name M-A-R-C, as in Gasol, Mark Gasol.
Hey, see, let me tell you about that, Skip. All that was to get Paul back. Bring in Mark later on in the season. Tell your brother, come on back. Let's double down. Gasol brothers, y'all get y'all championship together. Hello.
Hey, I think his brother, what is he, 40 now? I think his brother would be better than Mark would be at 36.
Yeah, Mark
He's got the Mamba mentality. Remember, his brother played with Mamba. Mamba brought the best out of Paul.
Oh, did he?
Well, who gonna get the best out of his baby brother Mark? Because you don't normally when somebody call you a Mark, that's not a good thing.
He gonna be all right. He got him a ship. He know what it feel like to win one. He come through in the clutch. I think his threes and his D's gonna come together when we need it most. Right now, we just need him to fill out where he's supposed to be and bring more to the table, be more productive on the offensive end and the defensive end. I think we're gonna be all right with him.
Okay, so Snoop, if you guys do get through the watered-down West, which most people think you will, how much do you fear what's happening in Brooklyn right now?
No fear at all, because it's a team basketball game. At the end of the day, it's about the team that gels the best. The team's got the best bench. The team's got the best coaching, and sometimes you got to have a little bit of luck in there as well. So I feel like we're going to be all right. And the matchup will break down to LeBron versus KD, or either LeBron versus Kyrie, or AD versus KD. That's great basketball at its highest level to see some of the top tier players going head up for that championship. Like once upon a time when we watched Golden State go up against, the Cleveland Cavaliers, that was some great basketball, championship basketball. So I look forward to a great championship from both sides, the East and the West.
If the Lakers and the Nets match up, you'd have to go back to find a matchup like this. You got to go back to the Lakers and Celtics when Kareem Magic Worthy was going against Bird, Parrish, and McHale.
Yep.
To have that kind of firepower, Skip, on both sides of the equation. When you got 4 All-Stars, basically 3-4 All-Stars on both teams. I don't know if we've ever seen it, and we might not see it again if we don't get that matchup this.
But the Nets would have more offensive firepower.
Oh, no question.
And the Lakers would clearly have more defensive firepower.
Yeah, we've never seen an offensive firepower like what Brooklyn got, Snoop.
Never.
The Brooklyn thing is they got them all on the court at the same time, see? And that's the problem. If I was a coach, I would come to somebody and say, egotistically, somebody got to sit down because we want to be better when that bench come in so we can break it down just a little bit. Like all of that 3 at the same time on the court, that's cool, but it's going to become a certain time where it's like, I want the ball. Well, I want the ball. I need the ball. Well, what's happening? That ain't happened yet. That's going to happen.
Well, that's where you got to take advantage of them is because when they're benched, because they don't have any depth. They don't have offensive firepower. Since they lost Karis LeVert, they traded him. Dinwiddie is out. So they don't have the offensive firepower once one or two of those guys leave. But what they try to do is always keep at least one of them on the court at all times. Because at any given moment, any one of those guys can go get you 20, 30 in a quarter.
No mercy.
We have been counting down the days, and now just 2 days away from the Chiefs taking on the Bucs Sunday in Super Bowl 55. Tom Brady is playing in his 10th Super Bowl and going for his 7th win, while Patrick Mahomes is trying to win back-to-back Super Bowls for the first time since Brady did it 16 years ago. Snoop, I got to start with you here. Who wins on Sunday?
Oh, that's going to be a tough one. Because I love P. Diddy Mahomes. I call him P. Diddy because he don't stop. I love to see P. Diddy Mahomes back there doing his thing at quarterback. I love the way he runs the show with his offense, the dynamic receivers, and just the way Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator of the year, is slinging that rock and calling them plays. And then on the other end, you got to give Leftwich and Two-Step Tommy some love too, because Tom Brady's a bad, bad mother, man. I tell you. You don't ever want to bet against Black, and you don't ever want to bet against Brady. So it's gonna be a hard game. It's a good thing I'm a Steeler fan, right? Because being a Steeler fan, you know who I think gonna win the Super Bowl? The Steelers.
Man, I'm looking at this game. I think Skip doesn't think it's going to be high scoring, but I think it's going to be high scoring. I can see both teams getting into the 30. I anticipate both teams getting into the 30s. I agree with you, but Patrick Mahomes has been unbelievable. In his 3 years of starting, it's hard to say they've been a quarterback better the first 3 years starting in his career than what we've seen Patrick Mahomes, especially in his 2nd Super Bowl, and he's not even 26 years of age yet. I got it 38-34. I expect Patrick Mahomes to throw well over 300 yards, probably 3 touchdowns, and they win 38-34, Snoop.
I got a question, though. How important is those tackles that he'll be missing in this championship game. Shannon, you played in games like this.
It's everything. It's everything. If they can get home, they're going to make Patrick Mahomes' life miserable. If they can't, he'll throw for 400.
So remember, you got Barrett, you got Ndamukong Suh, who's been quiet, but he's been deadly, and then you got that JPP guy, and the dog of their defense, I don't know if you know, is 4'5". He's a monster. He'll monster. He look like he played in my football league. He look like some of the kids that come out of my league. I like his get at.
So Snoop, it sounds like your heart is saying Mahomes and your head is saying Brady and the Bucs.
I love them both. It's kind of hard because I'm a fan of both of them. Anytime you're a football fan, you love great football. And we watched Tom do it for 20, and he's still doing it. We watched P. Diddy come in the league and almost get there on his first year. If he get the ball back, if that overtime come back the other way, they may win. So it's like he actually been in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, if you ask me. So he is the next coming of Tom Brady, and nobody in the AFC can deal with him. I'm over there in the AFC watching him just tear us up. Nobody can deal with him when the time matters. And we needed to see if Tom Brady can handle him because the 49ers had him on the hook last year, and they let him off the hook.
So if you had to pick this, what is your gut telling you? You would lean slightly which way?
Man, it's going to be hard to say because, remember, this is the first time a Super Bowl team has ever played at home. I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage.
I'd say a slight advantage.
You think so? But then you got Patrick Mahomes and his team that have been there before. So it's like Brady's team hasn't been there. It's a few in there that have. But this whole team has been there with the exception of Le'Veon and a few acquisitions. But this whole team know the feeling of being in that big game and knowing how it feels to be down and to come back from big games. Brady's squad, I just feel like they got to seize the moment. Everything got to work perfectly for them. Everybody got to be on high cylinders. So I'm looking for an overtime game. I think it's going to be that good.
So, Snoop, I'm going to say to you what I've been trying to tell Shannon for going on 5 years on this show. There's just this one guy in sports I don't bet against when the stakes are highest. And he's spectacularly unspectacular. He doesn't have any Super Bowl walk-off passes. There's no signature play, memorable moment. And that guy's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. There's just something about him. I can't quite put my finger on it because he's boringly clutch, but he's clutch. And I believe he will figure out a way to keep this game lower scoring with a lot of ball control, with an offense and a game plan centered around Leonard Fournette, who's finally come in to his own the way I thought he would those years at LSU. And I think they're going to run it more and flip it more to Leonard Fournette and try to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be under fire without those two tackles. And I think Mahomes will make 2 or 3 mistakes in this game against a defense that led the NFL in takeaways. And I love me some 4-5 like you do. He will disrupt. He'll be in the middle of it. He'll force a turnover here or there. And I just say the score will stay lower than you think, but it'll be gripping, and that Brady will win his 7th ring with his 7th game-winning drive in the fourth quarter, or to your point, overtime.
I think Brady is, and a lot of times when you watch these types of shows, you guys will say, you know, this quarterback's a good game manager. He's a good manager. And so y'all kind of play it to the left because managing is really not good to say for a quarterback. But if you really look at it, Tom Brady is the best manager ever with that football because he knows how to make sure. Because I watched something where it was a game they was playing and he was talking to Belichick and he was talking about, should we go for it or should we this? And Tom Brady was like, man, go for the field goal so we can be up by 2 possessions. And then Belichick was like, all right, go ahead. So I'm like, okay. The element of the game is that Tom Brady is a manager and a coach and a possession type of guy when he understands time of possession. He knows how to milk the clock and take it down to where when I put this money up, you're going to have this amount of time where you may not have no time. You know what I'm saying? So that's managing at its finest in the business that I'm in. You need a great manager. And it feels like Tom is the best manager on that football field when it's time to manage time.
Yeah, because a lot of times, Snoop, when you get in situations like that, you have to take the emotion out of the game. It's 4th and a foot. It's 4th and a yard. Instead of doing the obvious, taking the field goal, man, we could be able to get that. You're not looking at it. Hold on. If we go for if we kick the field goal, we're up 9, 10 points. We make it a 2-possession game. If we don't, they stop us. They can go down and get a touchdown, and they can tie this game up. So that's what you think to do. And so a lot of times you have to take the emotion. You got to get outside. Oh, we can get that yard. We can do this. No, take the field goal. Live to see another day. Make them have to go get 2 possessions in order to beat you instead of 1 possession to tie you up. And now you looking around like, man, I wish I had took that field goal.
Tom is the best manager, and right now, Mahomes is the best comeback quarterback. So
he has been.
The thing is this: whoever got the ball last, probably gonna win this game, buddy.
So, Snoop, if Mahomes wins this, as most people think he will, how many in a row could this team win?
Ooh, if he get this one, I don't know about in a row, but I say he could be, the only one that could be coming behind Tom Brady. I would say, first of all, you got to catch Joe Montana first. Let's keep it 1,000. You got to catch Joe. You got to catch Terry Bradshaw. You got to catch those guys first. But I think he's positioned to catch those guys. You know what I'm saying? How many did Troy Aikman win? He won 4 or 2?
3.
3? Okay, well, he's going to pass Troy. Sorry about that, T. He's going to pass you up. But those guys that I mentioned, the Bradshaws and the Montanas and the Bradys, they'll be up at the mouth waiting on you, P. Diddy, because guess what? The 3rd and the 4th one going to be a little more harder than the 1st and 2nd, because they're going to kind of peep you out. That's one thing about the NFL. They got a good peeping system where they peep you out and they find ways to break down that offense, because once upon a time it was the greatest show on turf, which was the Rams, right? And they was just running up score, and they ran across a team called the Patriots, and Belichick put that thing on them called that wood. They started hitting them. You know what I'm saying? Like these receivers, I ain't seen like that get hit yet.
You can't hit them like that now.
But I'm saying though.
And the thing was with the thing that's working for Patrick Mahomes that worked against Kurt Warner, you got to realize Kurt was like 29-30. And Kurt took a lot of pounding and Mahomes is not taking the pounding that Kurt took, and they had started to age out of it. Yeah. You look at the core guys, Tyreek is 26. That speed ain't going nowhere for a minute. Nicole Hardman is 22.
Oh, no.
Travis Kelce.
Help me.
So
he didn't put together an Olympic track team. That ain't fair.
That is right. Yeah. So, Snoop, sum this up. Wrap it up for us with one quick thought on your Steelers. Do you want Ben back or not?
See, now you playing with my emotions, Skip.
Go ahead, tell the truth.
You playing with my emotions, Skip. Do you want Dak back or not?
Not at that price, I don't. Not at $45 million.
Well, Ben making 41.
Let me say this, man. Ben Roethlisberger has been good to us. You know, we take the good, the bad, and the ugly. We know what comes with Ben Roethlisberger. And the thing is, I understand his passion. He doesn't like the way he went out. But he got to look at the field at what it's worth. Like, this game is different, man. They moving at quarterback now. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You got all these fast quarterbacks that know how to move, shake, rattle, and roll and make things happen when the play break down. Ben ain't what they used to be like that no more. I think he got to reevaluate his future as far as physical ability. And when the game is over, do I really want to be moving around, playing with my kids and being in physically shape? Because right now they coming through. They hitting them quarterbacks. They can't move. The quarterbacks that aren't mobile are seeming to take a lot of hits.
Well, can Ben throw the ball? Can he throw the ball farther than 30 yards down the field? Let's start with that. Is he going to be able to do that?
I ain't seen it in a minute. I'm trying to figure that part out, too.
We had to get your Steelers take it there, Snoop. Thank you so much for joining us.
We love you, Snoop.
All right,
I love y'all, man.
We miss you in person. We'll get you soon.
No mercy.
Black History Month is our time to reflect on our black heroes, but I'd be remiss if I tried to single out just one, because there are so many black heroes over the course of history, particularly in sports. Whether Jesse Owens, Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and so many more, it's too hard to focus on one, so instead I acknowledge all of the achievements by so many black individuals and the collection of black people and black athletes as a whole.
Well, after the the Lakers' win against the Nuggets last night, LeBron, he criticized the NBA's decision to schedule an all-star game this season, saying he had, quote, zero energy and zero excitement for playing in an all-star game, and later calling it, quote, pretty much a slap in the face after the NBA originally said it wasn't going to have a game. So this is interesting. Shannon, are you with LeBron's stance or against it here?
I'm 1,000% with him, Skip. They started the season early. They said, look, we're going to start the season early. We're not going to have an all-star game. We're going to give you a week off so you can decompress and get ready for the second half of the season. And now what did they do? For a money grab, because I guess one of their broadcast partners, so you're going to have an all-star game. Skip, this is what I want to know. Why would you bring all the top players in your sport and put them in one place with all the protocol, with all the COVID restrictions that you have in place? There's a reason, Skip. If you notice, when they go overseas, you never see the vice president and the president together. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
They separate them.
Okay.
Very seldom do you see them together in the same place, unless it's Congress, at any point in time. Skip, why would you bring Kevin Durant and LeBron James and AD and this one, that, all of them together in one place? For what?
Well, obviously, last season was the opposite of a money grab. Yeah. It was a money drop, right?
I get, Skip. I get it, Skip. But here's the thing. You said there were not going to be an all-star game because you already, Skip, they already came back with a shortened season. So basically, you want the guys to play straight through.
Yep. Okay.
Come on, Commissioner Silver, you better than this.
So just when I think LeBron James runs this league and he's earned the right to run this league, the Players Association caved in and agreed to this. So how much clout does he really have?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, Skip, yeah, he has a lot of clout, but, you know, you try to do what's in the best interest of the league. You know, guys are, I guess they're losing a lot of money, but at the end of the day.
You're talking about owners.
Owners, yes. LeBron said, okay, I tell you what, y'all go ahead and have it. I ain't going to be able to do that. I ain't going to be able to be there.
Well, he said he would show up, but,
of course,
he would just show up and wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, Skip, you asking an awful lot of a man in year 18 to go back and play or start a regular season 71 days after they won the championship, and when you promise you'll get a week off to give your body an opportunity to recover, you say, nah, we changed it, we lied, we changed our mind.
Okay, so remember, this season is scheduled to be 72 versus 82 games.
Right.
So each owner is going to lose about 5 home games, and that's
a lot of
home
revenue.
Box office, man, right? That's a lot of money that you're dropping, and the players are just about making their full salary. I think they each got docked a tiny bit. It's insignificant to start the year.
What happens if that thing become a super spreader? How much money? How many games they gonna lose after that?
That would be a huge.
No, it wouldn't, because you don't care. Because if you cared, you wouldn't have an all-star game. First of all, Skip, how do you have an all-star game with 1,500 fans? The all-star game is about festivity. You have all these actors and entertainers.
In the end, it's also about television.
I get that, Skip. But when on the television, what they showing? They showing you Jay-Z. They showing you Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Beyonce. They showing you all the celebs in the stands.
Courtside care.
Yeah, so I want to, Skip. So what you gonna put? You gonna put 15,000? You gonna put 20,000 in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta?
No, but it'd probably be half full by that time.
You notice
where we're heading for.
You see where they're taking it.
Yep.
It ain't a surprise they're taking it to Georgia.
Okay, remember, LeBron did say ahead of the year, and you were completely 1,000% on his side with this. I'm going to cherry pick games in the first month or two of the season. He's cherry picked 0 games. He's played every game, and I don't blame him. He's trying to track down Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's
He's trying to play basketball.
Okay.
Tom Brady ain't taking no games off. Why Tom Brady don't take no games off?
But he didn't say he was going to take games off, and they only play 16.
What they got to do with it?
Well, he's not doing what he said he was going to do.
Right. He want to play basketball. But the NBA is not doing what they said they were going to do. They said they weren't going to have an all-star game, so they lied.
His minutes are rising.
No, they actually played 35 last night. He's still at 33 and a half.
But he had a flurry of those 3 previous games where he was going the 39, 36, 38.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was counting on saying, you know what, I'm about to get me a break in a month. So all those minutes, I'll be fresh, come back rejuvenated, reinvigorated. Savannah and I going to get on the yacht, and we're going to go jet setting. Nah, they lied. Ain't no big water in Atlanta.
So no all-star game with LeBron, agree to drop just a couple of mil off that salary?
No, all-star, we don't get paid for no all-star game. That ain't no incentive in our contract. You should lie. Okay, give us an extra $3-4 million for lying. You lied to us. Yes, you lied. You told us, Commissioner Silver said there is not going to be an all-star game. Guys that penciled that time in, I'm gonna get an opportunity to spend a little extra time with my family. I get a chance to R&R, but now I got to go down to Atlanta and go to the city. You know, go to the city.
Yeah, go to the city. Well, that's not all bad. Right? Yeah. That could be a super spreader right there.
Yeah, right? Where you going? We don't partake in stuff like that.
Your Players Association just sold you out.
They did.
They sold you out.
Chris Paul sold us out.
Are you not upset with that?
No.
I'm surprised.
Michelle, Michelle Roberts.
Yeah. She does a great job.
Come on, Michelle.
She does a phenomenal job.
She does a great job. She's the best in the biz at this.
She's the best until now, right?
Hey.
Well,
that's all right, you know.
It's money is money, business is business.
Well, no, Skip.
Recoup some of last year.
Well, you tried to mess up my business, and you messing up my money if I miss games, because then my business, which is the Lakers, ain't gonna be in no championship.
That is true. That is true. That's the whole point of this.
It all makes sense. I can't believe you just brought up lemon pepper. We're gonna move on, guys.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will try to become the NFL's first repeat champ in 16 years when they face Tom Brady and the Bucs Sunday in Super Bowl 55. We have been talking about this game for really the past couple months, but the past 2 weeks now, and the guys have made their pick. Shannon took the Chiefs 38-34, while Skip took the Bucs 23-20. So Shannon, has anything in today's show changed your opinion on what the outcome will be on Sunday?
Let me think about it for just a second.
Yes.
No.
Nothing.
Absolutely not. I'm more convinced than ever. My homeboy gets it done. This is the start of the three-peat. Remember, you heard it here first. They win it on Sunday, and they're going to three-peat next year in 2022.
Give me the 3 points. Why not? Because you're scared to death of Tom Brady. I thought today you would finally see the light and learn your lesson, but no. What happened in the NFC Championship game? You gave me 7 points, and none of which I needed. I didn't need a single point.
Okay, you don't need these.
Yeah.
You got to go.
So, you know what? I feel so sorry for you. I have such pity for you that I'll take pity right now, right here, right now, and I'm going to do you a huge favor.
What you going to do?
I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to take Tom Brady straight up against the heavily favored Patrick Mahomes, because it's, by most people's count, it's way beyond a 3-point game. No. And I will go straight up for 3 cases. I won 6 cases with 7 points in the NFC Championship game. Aaron Rodgers at
I want it back. Double or nothing.
Nope. I'll go 3. If you give me the 3 points, I'll go double or nothing.
Nope. Okay, we got 3 cases. 3 cases straight up.
3 cases straight up, no points, and I love my position on this.
I love my position.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I got to put that call into my boys today. I got to talk to you know who today? Oh, my nephew, Kemps. Kemps gonna go for about $150.
Really?
Yeah, Tyreek go for about 2 bands.
You realize in the second half at Tampa Bay on November 29th, Kelsey caught 2 balls for 5 yards?
How many did you catch there for the game, though?
Oh, okay. So the stage is set. 3 cases straight up. It's official, guys. What a show today. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I cannot wait for Monday. The Herd is next. Have a good one.